All right, for our help this morning, we have Dr. Adedayo Shubomawo. She's a third generation medical doctor and healthcare management with over 17 years of international healthcare business experience. Now, he has joined us today to talk about 5 things you need to know about transplant surgeries. Hello, doctor. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so we're talking about transplant surgeries. Are we talking about a specific type of transplant or transplant surgeries generally?
We're talking about generally just a couple of organs that can be transplanted.
Okay, so let's start with definitions first. What would you define as a transplant surgery?
Okay, simply defined, the transplant surgery is when you remove an organ or tissue from one body and now put it in another body. Most times as a result of either a disease in the recipient or some people are just born without an organ. So it will either be as a result of birth defect or as a result of disease.
Okay, and most of the times we know that they are life-saving. So let's get straight to it. What are the things that we're supposed to know when it comes to transplant surgeries?
So a couple of things that are very important. So one is that you have to be careful about compatibility issues. So the same way when you want to transfuse blood between two people, you have to sort of check that the blood types are compatible. It's the same thing with transplant surgery. You need to make sure that both the recipient and the donor are compatible. If not, you're just going to have a massive rejection, which will basically lead possibly to the death of the recipient. That's very important.
Do we have cases where doctors or surgeons actually don't check for compatibility before going ahead with such surgeries?
Yeah, it happens, but it would only happen either with a quack or
okay,
with a
true.
doctor. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's go ahead. Compatibility. That's a major one. Moving on from that.
Okay. So the second thing that's also very important is even when you transplant organs between two compatible people, the body's natural defense is to reject any foreign body that goes into it. So what usually happens is when the recipient gets an organ from somebody else, the person has to be placed on immune suppressants for a period of time. Sometimes is for the rest of your life. That's basically just to sort of condition the body not to reject the new organ. And then, of course, it's also very important for you to sort of figure out where you're going to get a donor from. The most common source of donated organs, obviously, is your family members. You might decide to give an organ to someone in your family, obviously, because you care about the person. But then sometimes either you have no family or no one in your family is willing to give you an organ. I mean, it happens. So you now have to get an organ, but you have to be ethical about it, and I'll explain. So in most countries of the world, buying an organ from somebody else is illegal. Like, that would just be organ trafficking. So a lot of times it's now up to you to now get on a donor list. So every country has a donor list. And the way they do it is two ways. So some people, even while they are alive, they say, you know what, the minute I die, I want my organs harvested. I then give it to somebody who needs it. Yeah?
Yeah.
And the second way basically is, even though, like I said, the trafficking is banned, but there's some countries where it's still possible. Like, there are black markets, they are available, and you can procure an organ. So if you're able to do that, that's also an alternative.
Wow. All right. Okay. So what are the other ones? What are the other things?
So the other considerations, like I said, is so in every country in the world where there's like a donor list, the amount of organs are always less than the demand for the organ.
Yes, so I know there's normally, the waiting list is normally quite long. I hear people waiting for years as part of a donor list, yes.
Yes. So the way the organs are allocated is a function of two things. So one is obviously it's like a first come, first served basis. So the earlier you get on the list, the higher the chances of getting an organ when it's available.
We'll continue next time. Thank you very much, Dr. Adedayo. That was quite insightful there. All right, we'll take a short break now. There's still more to come on the show.